Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Master Division with various wind for the Winter Springs tournament and the Shiruba Springs here in Golf Clash the game. Before we take a closer look at the videos, make sure that you do hit the thumbs up button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. For those of you that are looking to improve your game even more, make sure to join the biggest community when it comes to a tournament and tour guides. Patreon.com/golfclashtom. You can scan the QR code here on the screen and you go directly to our packages. We have something for each and every one. Follow the info box on the right hand side to get the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also what ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that those are all suggestions and you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there is always a plan behind it. So let's go to hole number 1. Shiruba Springs, hole number 1. Here we do have a beautiful wind. This one you can actually send as well up to short iron or a wedge if you would like. But here we're playing a free-to-play ball version, laying up with a luminary bullseye by rough line at max P5 line, adjust max plus 10. When adjustment has been done, we're going to go with max overpower with a completely slow needle and half a ball of left curl. Do you need to use a luminary here? Can't I use a ball with more wind resistance? Yes, you can. It's obviously up to you, but I feel like this type of play didn't really need anything else, and it was actually good to only have a luminary to be wasted. Second shot, we play with the short iron that we do prefer to use. I like to play Falcon in these type of scenarios, especially when ball guideline is an important thing. So the ball guideline with Falcon being at 4.5 at level 7 and level 8 is super helpful, where Thorn is a little bit less and Hornet is also a little bit less. Now, either a landing position check, fringe check, pin check, whatever. If you do have a check to follow, that's definitely the way to go. Otherwise, true club distance minus 10% elevation is what I would be playing. Because here we play uphill and the ball will then be less affected by the wind than if we would be playing a shot that would be downhill or just flat. Hole number 2 offers a rough bump here, and as we're playing in Master, we're gonna take all the chances we can to do a rough bump. Sure, you can bounce on the fairway up towards the pin as well. However, though, the rough bump will always, on this particular hole, offer the best possible chance for a drop. Now, aiming with the ball guideline to be right side of the pin, and we're gonna adjust max plus 20. I'm using here a P3 side spin 3 ball, but for those of you that do not want to waste a P3 side spin 3 ball, you can always switch to a P1 or a P2 ball after you have made your adjustment. Have in mind that you need to do that after the adjustment, because otherwise you're going to move your target further back than what you want in a too early stage. Center the ball and hit perfect. The ball would then bounce into the rough and go towards the pin, and we're dropping this one dead center for a lovely hole-in-one here in hole number 2. Hole number 3 is a really tough par 5 to get anything else than an eagle on. Sure, you can push and go with a power slice or something like that to get further down the fairway, but the risk you take with that is you do get some type of a glitch roll, or you're getting yourself dead bounces, and then that's going to throw off the second shot completely. So in my opinion, playing this one up safe for an eagle is definitely the way to go. Max plus 5 is the adjustment that I'm using here with this particular wind angle. The goal here is to get myself to be more towards the right side than anything. Second shot, we are now gonna play in a straight tailwind. We're gonna use the right hand side. And from here now, with this type of tailwind, we can either go for the green by having a little bit less topspin and go with more curl, but what we are risking there is obviously to go into the rough or into the sand. So here I'm using all the topspin that I can to just ping myself up towards the green. Adjust, it's max plus a 10, and you can see here now that I'm playing this one without go with any push-up. I'm just using a little bit of overpower, which will then be with a completely slow needle. Great ball it is, and you can see here now that we are getting this ball maybe a little bit too close to the left-hand side rough with that great left, but we're ending up to be with a wedge. Now for the wedge, it's gonna play so different depending on where you end up, but I'm gonna show you it for reference. So here we're playing an EB School version. If you play an EB School with no spin, play plus 10. If it's an EB School with max top spin, we're gonna play it to be a minus 45% elevation P4 numbers. Now I'm playing some type of in-between type of play, as I would like to have my first bounce to be just before the fringe to avoid us having glitch rolls and glitchy spots and stuff like that. So even though you get the ball up in a situation that I mean, the situation that you get towards is the wedge, but it's still not a gimme to lock in the eagle. So hole number 3 here, getting an eagle is most definitely going to be the common score to get, and there will be much more birdies than there will be albatrosses on this tough par 5. Hole number 4, we do want to play with a side spin 4 ball. We're gonna use a position where we are boxing in the blue ring, bottom right and the right side of the blue ring by a rough slash bunker. Now we're gonna add the spins for right, and we're gonna use 1.2 top spin. Adjustment is going to be medium distance plus 10, which is 1 to 1. So playing 7.5 rings for 7.5 miles per hour. When it comes to this pull here now, to make sure that the bunker is not going to obstruct too much, you're going to have to pull from the 7.5 mark to the white ring. Pull slowly, as it's very easy to pull off center in a scenario like this. Center the ball. Add the tweaks that if you have any. Hit perfect. Ball bounces on the fairway, ball turns around, rolls up towards the pin, dead center for a beautiful hole-in-one here on hole number 4. Shiruba Springs hole number 5. Here we do have some headwind, and here we do recommend for you to play with a power 4 wind 4 ball. Sure, you can play with a wind 5 ball as well, but no really need for wind 5 here. Starting at the top of plus 9 and adding spins here now, and you can see we're using 7 top spin and using 1 right spin. Adjust is going to be max plus 10. And once we have adjusted, we're going to add some curl to the right. You can see here that we are in the highest wind 4 wind. We're not pulling into overpower, which is good. 1 ball of right curl, hit perfect. The ball is going to bounce on the fairway and then nicely down here on the fairway, and we are looking to be consistent with our drives, and that's a big key to drop this hole consistently, because there is a way of getting a glitch roll if you haven't been designing the drive correctly, and then you can glitch roll up to like 400 yards, and obviously then becomes almost 2 different shots if you are at 380 yards or 400. Now, pin check on the approach. If you do not have a pin check or a fringe check or something like that to follow, then you're going to have to just make your best possible guess by checking where max club are and where min club are, and go from there. Yellow ring to be by the rough line. This is really not something that I do enjoy, because having the yellow, red, or blue ring, or white ring for that matter, by the rough line is going to be very hard to be consistent with. And the reason I think that is because the rough kind of blends into the fairway a lot. So I like to aim just by the very edge of the rough line if possible, but some wind directions that we have, that's not really possible. So then we're gonna obviously have to do something like I'm doing here now. So 5% elevation, and then whatever, slider you have based on the check that you are given, and then an eagle is going to be very good chance. Hole number 6, here we are playing into headwind, and when we play into headwind, to have some sort of a solid chance for another cross, we're gonna have to play with the big boy ball, and that is a P5 wind 5. Obviously, if having a crosswind or a tailwind, we're not really needed to do that, and we can play with a P3, P2, even a P1 ball to a degree. Max plus 10, I'm gonna play this one 7 topspin and 1 left spin. Curl to the left is going to be used. We're using 1 ball of left curl, and we have overpowered 3 rings, trying to hit perfect. Perfect ball it is. Let it swing a couple of more times just to ensure that perfect ball bouncing on the fairway. Now we get over the rough line, and we're gonna from here have a possibility to attack the pin with our sniper. Now, for the second shot, we need to have in mind here that bouncing on the fairway is a little bit better than doing the rough bump. This, as the rough bump is a shot that could be a bit glitchy. So I'm bouncing with the first bounce after the rough ball guideline to be short of hole, as we do have a slight tailwind. Minus 20% elevation. Obviously, if you do have a landing position shake, rough shake, fringe shake, pin shake, then use that. But if you don't, then you have to make an educated guess of your club range. Adjust is done. Center the ball and hit perfect. You can see here now that it looks like I'm having a little bit of left curl here. This is a smaller ball, so it's very easy to have that. Bounces on the fairway up towards spin now. Let's get in. No. 180 around the hole for the Albatross. Tough. Again, this part 5, especially Master with headwind, is going to be very difficult to drop an Albatross consistently. But with a crosswind or a tailwind, then we can allow ourselves have a much easier time attacking for the Alba. For the Shiruba Springs, hole number 7, we need to have in mind here that if we do have a tailwind, we're gonna send it. Like, it doesn't matter if it is a lot of crosswind together with the tailwind. If there are some portion of tailwind, we are gonna send it. So start at max with a P5 ball. A wind 0 ball is to be preferred, especially if it's like an in-between wind like this, because we do want to have a good push from the wind. If we have a more straighter wind, you can come around by using even a wind 1, wind 2, wind 3 ball or something like that instead. All the top spin are pushed up to max, half a ball of left curl, try to hit perfect. The idea here is to bounce on the fairway to then clip the rough and then roll out for a wedge. The reason I want that to be the outcome is that I do not want to miss the rough with my second bounce, because then it's a very easy thing to glitch roll into the back rough. If you do have a straight crosswind, or you have some type of headwind, we're going to have to lay up either on the left side or straight forward, and then obviously this eagle to get is going to be much more difficult than what it is if we're sending it. Second shot is a wedge, just showing that to demonstrate it. It's going to be an EB school with no spin, plus 20, P5 as we're using a P5 ball. If we're using max topspin, we're gonna play that one minus a 35% elevation P4, and that is for Endbringer 7 and Endbringer 8. Ball guideline to go into the hole, very important here. We do not want to fall short in line. So once we are happy with an aim point, we're making the adjustment. Time to center the ball and to hit perfect. You can see here now that it's so hard to center this ball, and that's definitely a couple of clicks of overpower on that one, but lucky enough getting it dead center for an eagle here on the send it on Shiruba Springs hole 7. Hole number 8 can be played in so many different ways, but I have a favorite one, which is to play from this rough bump here. It's a skinny rough bump, but has always been really solid when it comes to attacking for the hole in one. We are in this instance aiming just left of the pin. I'm going to apply no spin. You see, we'll play no spin with this shot, which is beautiful. Adjustment is min +5 P1 with this particular angle. Have in mind that that will obviously differ depending on what wind angle you have. If you do not feel confident with a rough bump like this, then you can bounce on the fairway, or you can go with a rough bump that is more to the right by using more side spin, stuff like that. There's many different ways of attacking here. Choose the one that you feel confident with, but something to have in mind is that playing a rough bump on this hole is going to consistently give you more drops than if you're bouncing on the fairway up towards the pin. Bounces into the rough, rolls down the green, and we're going for a beautiful hole-in-one here on hole number 8. Hole number 9 in headwind and crosswind is boring. If we do have a tailwind, we can push the ball to have the first bounce over the rough. But now when we do have a headwind, the only way we're looking at this one is to get the eagle as simple as possible. Backing up here using my Thor's hammer to allow myself to go with a lot of topspin. Ball guideline to point towards that snow patch inside the rough. Adjust, it's going to be max +10. Adjusting the max +10, and once we have adjusted for the max +10 with our Thor's hammer level 8, we're gonna push up. We're pushing up to max, and we're centering the ball, adding inside wall left curl. No overpower here. Obviously, for the more lower level Thor's hammers, we're going to have to go with some overpower. But in the end, we're bouncing on the fairway over to the fairway, leaving ourselves nicely on the fairway, and we're gonna be able to lock in the eagle from here. Second shot, use the wood club that gives you the most power. This, as we do have, at least with this type of wind, some sort of a tailwind component, which will then allow us to actually go aggressive but not aggressive. What I mean with that is that we're going to push with overpower to get the first bounce to be on the fairway off the rough. This means that we can go with backspin and leave the ball on green nicely and actually have, if we're being lucky, a chance for the albatross. But the other way to do is to bounce on the fairway before the rough, and then we're going to have to go with a much more topspin, and that could, if you're being very unlucky, be easy to misjudge, and then you roll into the rough, and that's not what we're going to do. And I do believe that this is the more easier way to get the eagle. Now on the green for the eagle, and you need to have in mind, with this type of wind, there are going to be more opponents ending up with a birdie than even having a chance for the albatross. So the eagle is to take and then to be happy. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this playthrough for the Winter Springs tournament here, Master Division, with a full 9 of the Shiruba Springs. Make sure to get the best guys on the market for Master Division through the QR code here on the screen, or you go directly to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Obviously, we do have guides for pro, expert, and pro expert as well, so you can check out and find the package that suits you. Thank you once again for watching. Good luck in your Golf Clash game.